Hey there, Focus Learners, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here because, look, we're tackling one of the most exciting and honestly notoriously difficult transitions in tech right now. If you're part of a startup company building AI products, you know exactly what I mean. Getting an AI model to do a cool little trick once in a chat window, that's easy. But taking that fragile, prompt-based prototype and turning it into a robust, scalable production feature, yeah, that's a massive hurdle. It's where a lot of startups, frankly, stumble. So today, we're going to look at a structured blueprint for successfully making that leap, and we're going to explore exactly how to do this using Google AI Studio.
All right, here's our engineering journey for today. First, stop chatting, start building. 2, prompts as API specifications. 3, the Startup Builder Toolkit. 4, leveraging long context windows. 5, surviving production and troubleshooting. And finally, 6, AI Studio versus Vertex AI. Let's get to it.
Section 1. Stop chatting, start building. Shifting the developer mindset.
Stop chatting, start building. Now, as a developer, you've probably been there, right? You have a new feature in mind, you open up a standard consumer chatbot, you paste in your requirements, you get some code or text back, and you manually copy-paste it all back into your IDE. Sure, it works for a quick test, but it's an entirely manual, highly brittle workflow. It just doesn't scale. Well, Google AI Studio changes this dynamic completely. Instead of a chat window, it acts as an actual integrated development environment, a real IDE specifically built for prompt engineering. It literally hands you API-ready code on a silver platter so you can move straight from idea to implementation. The fundamental difference here for startups trying to build actual products is just immense. Think about it. Consumer bots are fundamentally designed for human interaction. They add conversational smoothing, implicit assumptions, and they're constantly trying to guess your intent to be helpful. But Google AI Studio, it acts like a strict API specification engine. It exposes the raw deterministic behavior of the model. There's no implicit assistant persona or memory layers smoothing things over behind the scenes for you. It evaluates your requests exactly as provided, rewarding strict engineering precision over creativity. Moving right along to Section 2, prompts as API specifications, structuring the engine. So, when you shift to this builder's mindset, the way you write prompts has to fundamentally change. It becomes entirely about instruction-first, deterministic execution. The absolutely crucial point to understand is the separation of your behavioral boundaries from your task data. The system instruction field operates distinctly. It persists across requests. This is exactly where you tell the model its core role, its operational tone, and its formatting constraints. Your user prompt, on the other hand, should only ever contain the specific data for that one single task. If you mix your behavioral rules with your task data in the same prompt, you are going to confuse the engine. Separating them is the ultimate key to guaranteeing the stability of your application day in and day out. Another critical tip for structuring your engine is to explicitly prohibit behaviors. Saying "do not speculate" or "do not invent data" works absolute wonders for reducing hallucinations. For startups building factual, data-grounded applications, like, say, financial analyzers or medical summarizers, negative constraints clarify operational boundaries so much more effectively than broad positive guidance. Tell the model exactly what it is not allowed to do, and you're going to see a massive leap in reliability. Up next, Section 3, the Startup Builder Toolkit, fast prototyping tools for developers. We're going to look at the specific tools your startup needs to build and ship real applications quickly, especially when utilizing the blazing fast and cost-effective Gemini Flash models. First off, if you're building an app, you absolutely do not want conversational text. You need structured data. Explicit output formatting is mandatory to prevent your application from crashing downstream when a parser fails. This means demanding a strict JSON mode, literally telling the model to return valid JSON with fixed keys. But it also means explicitly asking for markdown tables with specific headers, or commanding the model to use titled sections only. This prevents the AI from giving you a chatty introduction like, "Sure, here's your data," which, as we all know, would instantly break your data pipeline. This creates a killer workflow for rapid prototyping. First, you set those strict system instructions we just talked about. Second, you test the output dynamically in the AI Studio playground with some sample data. Third, and honestly most importantly, you just click the Get Code button. In just these 3 steps, a startup founder can go from a vague idea for a new feature to a fully running Python, JavaScript, or curl script in under 5 minutes. That kind of velocity, that's a massive competitive advantage. But what if your application needs real-time data? Well, that's where function calling comes in. This capability allows you to seamlessly link Gemini to external APIs.
For example, if you want your app to know the current weather, you can add a function declaration. Just ensure you turn off the default Google search tool in the studio first, and then add your custom JSON function code. Suddenly, your AI model can reach out, trigger your internal code to fetch the weather, and pull back the exact real-time data it needs to formulate an accurate response to the user.
By combining system instructions, structured outputs, function calling, and code execution, your startup can rapidly build incredibly complex internal tools. You could create an automated pull request summarizer that reaches out to your repository, reads the Git diffs, and formats a report. Or you could build an error log analyzer that takes a massive stack trace and outputs the exact file and line number causing the crash, delivering it directly to your Slack channel in a perfectly clean JSON format. It's pretty amazing.
All right, Section 4, leveraging long context windows. 5,000 pages in one prompt. Everything we've discussed so far is really supercharged by one massive recent advancement in AI, the long context window. This completely changes product design and how startups approach leveraging their proprietary data. Look at the sheer scale of this number. 2 million tokens. That's the limit of the Gemini 1.5 Pro model. To put that abstract number into perspective, you could dump your entire code base, or 5,000 pages of complex corporate documents, into a single prompt window. It fundamentally changes how you interact with information, completely removing the need for clunky, chunking strategies in a lot of use cases. Because the model acts like it has an extended short-term memory, it can process all that information at once. This enables near-perfect recall and enhanced factual accuracy. But for a startup, perhaps the absolute biggest benefit is many-shot in-context learning. Instead of spending weeks and thousands of dollars fine-tuning a model, you can just provide hundreds of examples directly in the prompt itself. This unlocks massive summarization and retrieval capabilities over giant data sets, and it enables highly sophisticated workflows for AI agents that need to maintain context over long periods of time without losing the plot. Let's move to Section 5, surviving production and troubleshooting, keeping the app running.
The honeymoon phase of prototyping is great, but surviving production? Yeah, that's another story entirely. Every startup eventually hits roadblocks when scaling to hundreds or thousands of users, and you need to know how to troubleshoot the pragmatic realities of running AI in the wild. When you hit scale, you will inevitably see these back-end error codes. If you get a 429 resource exhausted, you've hit your rate limit. The solution? Implement an exponential back-off strategy with jitter in your code, meaning your application automatically pauses and retries at random, increasing intervals so it doesn't just continuously hammer and overwhelm the server. A 503 means the service is temporarily overloaded. You might want to temporarily fail over to a faster, lighter model like Gemini 1.5 Flash. And a 400 invalid argument simply means your request is malformed, so you need to double-check your API syntax.
Another really common production issue is the model getting stuck and repeating tokens, like endlessly printing hyphens or new lines over and over. If you see this, you need to tweak your parameters. Bumping the temperature, which is the setting that controls the model's randomness and creativity, to 0.8 or higher often breaks that repetitive loop. Also, check your prompts for forbidden Unicode escape sequences. And when asking for JSON, make sure all fields are required but explicitly avoid dictating the exact sequential order they must appear in, as that can sometimes really confuse the generation process.
I literally cannot stress this enough for startup founders trying to move fast. Secure your API keys. If your key suddenly stops working with a 403 permission denied error, it very well might have been blocked. Google proactively scans for and blocks leaked keys to protect your data and prevent devastating cost overruns from bad actors exploiting your account. Keep your keys tightly secured and out of public GitHub repositories, for sure. Finally, Section 6, AI Studio versus Vertex AI, the scaling choice. As your startup grows and your user base expands, you will eventually need to evaluate your platform choices. Understanding the difference between Google's offerings ensures you know exactly when it's time to graduate to the enterprise tier. Here's the critical distinction. Google AI Studio is your developer-friendly engine for rapid velocity, quick experimentation, and easy API access. It is absolutely perfect for startups trying to move fast and find product-market fit. But when your startup scales to the point where you have dedicated data scientists who need deep, custom machine learning training, hyperparameter tuning, strict data governance, and enterprise pipeline management, well, that's when you'll want to move your workloads over to Vertex AI Studio.
We have covered a massive amount of ground today. From shifting away from casual consumer chatbots to embracing strict API specifications, leveraging 2 million token context windows, and surviving the harsh realities of production errors. You now have the pragmatic engineering mindset required to turn fragile ideas into highly scalable products. You have the blueprint. The only question left is, with all this power at your fingertips, what disruptive product will your startup build next?